Chosen one, listen closely. This message isn't for the crowd. It isn't for those who fit in, who follow the rules of this world and feel at home in it. This is for you, the one who has always felt like a stranger, even in familiar places. The one who questions why things never quite worked out the way they were supposed to. You didn't stumble onto this video by accident. This is a divine interruption, a message from beyond the veil, and it has found you at the perfect time. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt exhausted just thinking about going after another job? Not because you are lazy, but because every part of you knows it is not where you belong. Do you feel like your soul is resisting the idea of settling into something that dims your light? Have you been hearing a deeper voice inside, one that keeps whispering, "There is something else you are meant to do"? If so, you are not lost. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are being rerouted by God Himself. Chosen ones don't look for work like the world does, but because they were never sent here to be just workers. They were sent here to be awakeners, to be carriers of divine assignments, to be reminders in human form that this world is not all there is. You have likely noticed by now that no matter how hard you try to follow the so-called normal path, something always breaks down. It doesn't hold. It doesn't click. You are not cursed. You are being set apart. This world has systems that were never made with you in mind. And God's message to you today is simple. Don't go after jobs. Do this instead. Step fully into your divine gift. Step into the call that has been pressing on your spirit since the day you were born. The reason things haven't worked out in the way you expected is because you are meant to live by a different blueprint, heaven's blueprint. One where your purpose creates your provision, where your obedience attracts overflow, where your gift opens the door that no application ever could. This message is not meant to inspire you for a moment. It is meant to awaken you to your true role. You are not here to blend in. You are here to break patterns, to speak light into dark places, to live in such a way that others remember who they are just by being around you. The time of hiding is over. The time of playing small is done. You are being called into spiritual entrepreneurship, prophetic leadership, divine creativity, and healing assignments that no worldly job title could contain. So if your spirit has been stirred while listening, if you feel a confirmation in your chest right now, comment 444 below so I know this has reached you. And more than that, subscribe to this channel, Rise of the Chosen. Tap the bell icon and share this message with someone else who has been stuck in confusion about their purpose. This is not motivational talk. This is alignment. This is your divine re-entry into the truth you have always known. You were chosen by God, and your gift is not optional. It is your assignment. Welcome to the Rise, Chosen One. You have been trying to force yourself into a system that was never built for you. Every time you have tried to walk the path that others said was secure, responsible, or normal, something in your spirit shut down. You might have blamed yourself. You might have thought you were lazy, inconsistent, or ungrateful. But the truth is deeper than what they told you. You were never made to chase jobs. You were made to walk in divine purpose. From the moment you were born, the world began training you to serve its machine. Go to school, get the degree, apply for work, compete, climb, retire. But you have always felt something was off about that rhythm. While others were motivated by promotions or status, you were asking questions about meaning. While others were content fitting into roles, you were haunted by a calling you couldn't name. That is not dysfunction. That is divine dissonance. That is the spirit inside you rejecting what the world expects from you. Chosen ones don't thrive in jobs that mute their gifts. You may have worked before, maybe you still are, but deep down you know that is not the final destination. You have always felt there is something more. That sense of more isn't greed or fantasy. It is heaven reminding you of your assignment. It is God showing you that your existence isn't supposed to be defined by a job title, but by the light you carry and release into this world. You see, jobs were created to organize labor, but your spirit was not sent here to labor in routine. You were sent here to build, awaken, and shift atmospheres. The very structure of traditional jobs can feel like a cage for a chosen one. Sitting at a desk, being micromanaged, working toward goals that have nothing to do with eternity, it drains you. Not because you are entitled, but because your soul knows that your energy is sacred and your time is an offering. And yet you have probably been judged for it. They might have said, "You don't try hard enough," or "You always quit too soon." But they don't understand that what looks like inconsistency on the outside is often spiritual resistance on the inside. You cannot stay where your soul is suffocating. You cannot pretend to care about systems that were designed to keep the chosen ones distracted from their real work. Your real work begins where your obedience begins. That is what the world will never tell you. Because obedience doesn't always look productive at first. It looks like silence, like rest, like writing something no one sees yet, like starting a project that doesn't bring instant money. But what they call risky, heaven calls alignment, and that is the path you have been called to walk. You weren't created to hustle your way to survival. You were anointed to transform the way others survive. You weren't created to fill positions. You were born to create space for others to find their truth. You weren't created to be used. You were created to lead, to heal, to reveal, to build something that carries God's presence into places the church will not go. When you chase jobs, you end up shrinking your purpose to fit into someone else's agenda. But when you chase obedience, you start expanding your life to carry the full weight of your assignment. That is when things begin to align. That is when provision follows. That is when doors open that resumes cannot unlock. So no, you are not lazy. You are not confused. You are not ungrateful. You are a chosen one. And chosen ones don't look for work the way the world does. They walk into assignments that were waiting on their yes. They rise into callings that don't make sense on paper. They follow God's voice over human approval, and they live lives that light fires in others without even trying. That is why you have never been satisfied in jobs, because satisfaction was never the goal. Transformation was. You were meant to disrupt, to rebuild, to call others out of slumber. So stop trying to fit in where you were never meant to stay. You were born to lead from a place no man can validate. Heaven has already approved you. Now it is time to walk like it, chosen one. How many times have you been told you are wasting your potential, that you are not doing enough, that you are lazy? You have probably heard it from parents, teachers, even friends, people who love you but don't understand you. But let me speak to your spirit right now. What the world calls laziness is often something far more sacred. It is divine resistance. You weren't created to respond the way others do. That heaviness you feel when you try to do what everyone else does isn't a weakness. It is heaven resisting the world's expectations on your behalf. It is God saying, "Not here, not this, not for you." While others jump from job to job with ease, something in you tenses up. Your body gets tired. Your soul withdraws. Your energy shuts down. That is not because you lack discipline. It is because you were never meant to build someone else's dream at the cost of your own calling. The world wants you to measure your worth by how busy you are, how productive you look, and how much money you bring in. But heaven's measurement is different. It is about obedience, not activity. It is about alignment, not achievement. You could be doing less in the eyes of the world but accomplishing more in the spirit because you are operating from purpose, not pressure. That is what most people will not understand. They cannot see your spiritual assignment, so they judge your human actions. Laziness is a word they use when they cannot comprehend your blueprint. But you are not lazy. You are being retrained. You are in a process. You are being emptied of old programming so you can make room for divine instruction. And sometimes that process looks like stillness, like silence, like stepping away from the noise so you can hear God more clearly. But in a world addicted to hustle, stillness looks like failure. Let me tell you something important. You don't have to prove your worth to anyone. You are chosen by God. That alone sets you apart. The fact that you cannot function like the masses is not your flaw. It is your confirmation. You are not like them because you are not meant to live like them. Your mind is wired to catch divine downloads. Your heart is built to carry sacred burdens. Your life is designed to disrupt norms, not conform to them. So when you feel yourself resisting the grind, pause and ask yourself, is this disobedience or is it divine resistance? More often than not, it is your spirit trying to protect you from misalignment. Because the wrong yes can delay the right calling. The wrong opportunity can contaminate your assignment. The wrong job can dim the very light God is trying to grow in you. Chosen ones don't thrive under man-made systems. They move best when they follow divine flow. That flow isn't always fast. It isn't always impressive, but it is always right. You might not have a title right now. You might not have income like others, but you have something they cannot fake. You have heaven's hand on your life, and that alone will take you further than any resume or reference ever could. This season you are in might feel confusing. You might wake up some days and wonder what you are doing with your life. But I promise you, if you are surrendering to God's direction even in the quiet, you are doing holy work. You are being set apart. You are being prepared. The delay is not denial. The resistance is not rejection. It is redirection. You are not meant to move just for the sake of motion. You are meant to move when the Spirit moves you. That is how chosen ones rise, not by chasing success, but by obeying the unseen rhythm of the divine. That rhythm doesn't always make sense, but it always makes purpose. And if you have been feeling the pull to rest, to slow down, to realign, don't fight it. It might just be God preserving you for something much greater. So the next time someone questions your pace or makes you feel like you are falling behind, remember this: you are not lazy. You are being led. Comment 33 if you know this word was for you. Let them talk. Let them assume. While they chase what the world offers, you are being positioned for what heaven has prepared. Stay in divine resistance, holy to be rushed. Chosen one, God didn't send you here empty-handed. Before you took your first breath, a gift was placed inside of you. Not a random talent, not a hobby, but a divine tool crafted by heaven itself. And that gift is not just something you have. It is your assignment. You have been searching for your purpose in positions, in people, and in places. But the message from God is clear. Stop looking outward and start looking inward. Your gift is not something extra. It is the main thing. So many chosen ones live confused because they have been taught to downplay what comes naturally to them. You have probably brushed off your abilities because they felt too easy or too obvious. You have assumed real work must be hard and unpleasant. But the divine doesn't operate through struggle. It flows through grace. That ease you feel when you speak, create, guide, write, heal, build, or lead is not coincidence. That is confirmation. That is God saying, "This is what I gave you to give to the world." The world taught you to hide it. It told you that you had to be realistic. It said your gift wasn't enough to sustain you. But God's message overrides all of that. What you carry inside you is not for entertainment or ego. It is for impact. Your gift was meant to wake people up, to heal broken places, to bring clarity where there is confusion, and to shine light in places darkened by hopelessness. The enemy knew this too, which is why he attacked your confidence, why you have battled self-doubt, and why you have been silenced in rooms where your voice carried weight. But the season of shrinking is over. You are not being called to chase jobs. You are being called to activate your divine gift. Heaven is not hiring employees. It is sending out messengers, healers, prophets, creatives, teachers, and builders of spiritual infrastructure. You may not have a business card or a degree that validates it, but if God gave you a gift, that is all the proof you need. That gift is your calling card. Your life's work flows from it. Your provision will be attached to it. Your impact will be birthed through it. And here is the truth most will not tell you. If you don't honor the gift, it becomes a burden. That is why you felt anxious, restless, and frustrated. It is not depression. It is misused purpose. The gift is too powerful to stay buried. It demands expression. It aches to be used, not for clout, not for applause, but for kingdom movement. And the longer you avoid it, the louder the resistance becomes. You don't need to figure out every step. You need to start with what is already in your hand. That vision, that voice, that burning idea, that burden for people who are hurting the way you once were, that is the gift trying to get out. It is not a random urge. It is divine prompting. It is heaven nudging you to stop hiding behind responsibilities and excuses and finally walk in what you were born to do. And listen closely. Your gift is not too small. It is not too late. You haven't missed it. There is no expiration date on a divine assignment. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what you have lost. It doesn't matter what mistakes you have made. God's message is still the same. Use what I gave you. That is where your power is. That is where your provision is. That is where your peace is. Chosen one, don't underestimate what has been deposited inside of you. You don't have to become someone else to walk in purpose. You only need to become obedient to the original design. You are not here to fit in. You are here to stand out. And your gift is what makes that possible. It is not prideful to walk in your power. It is faithful. It is responsible. It is sacred. So I am telling you now, your job isn't to find a job. Your job is to find flow, to listen, to trust the divine voice guiding you back to yourself. And from that place, you will move differently, speak differently, and live differently. Those who need what you carry will find you. You will not have to beg for opportunities. When you honor the gift, the assignment will reveal itself. Let this message be the moment everything shifts. The moment you stop running from your calling. The moment you recognize that your peace has always been connected to your purpose. And if something in your spirit is leaping right now, comment 666 so I know you are waking up to what is already inside you. You were chosen by God not to copy others and not to chase titles, but to fulfill the unique assignment heaven placed within you. But to reveal heaven through the very thing He placed inside your soul. That gift is the assignment. Walk in it, chosen one. Something massive is shifting in the spirit, and if you have been feeling strange lately, that is why. You are not imagining it. You are not broken. You are being activated. And what is being activated in you has nothing to do with chasing survival and everything to do with building the new. The old economy is collapsing for you. The grind, the hustle, the scarcity mindset, the desperate job searches, those doors aren't opening because they were never meant to. God is launching His chosen ones into a new economy, a spiritual economy based on purpose, presence, and power. This isn't about money the way the world defines it. This is about divine flow, provision that follows obedience, and resources that are attracted by alignment, not effort. For so long, you have been taught that if you don't work for someone else, you will not survive. But now you are being shown that your calling isn't tied to a paycheck. It is tied to impact. And where there is impact, there is provision. Where there is alignment, there is access. This new economy is built by chosen ones, by people who no longer fit inside the boxes the world created. This economy doesn't ask you to compromise your soul. It doesn't ask you to pretend you are something you are not. It invites you to bring your full self, your full gift, your full truth. And it pays in peace, power, and prosperity that doesn't require your exhaustion. You are not being lazy by leaving the old system. You are being summoned into a higher one. Look around. Spirit-led entrepreneurs are rising. Prophetic voices are finding platforms. Healing hands are opening practices. Writers are being called to publish words that set captives free. Artists are awakening souls. Mentors, coaches, teachers, and seers, people like you are realizing they were never meant to beg for jobs. They were meant to build spaces where heaven can be seen and felt through their gifts. That discomfort you have been feeling with your old work life is not a mistake. It is a signal. It is God telling you that what used to work is no longer acceptable. The assignment has changed, and your provision, your peace, and your next elevation are all connected to what you have been carrying in silence. It is time to stop hiding it. The new economy needs you fully visible, fully activated. This isn't about quitting your job overnight. This is about listening, aligning, beginning, and taking steps to offer your gift to the world with intention. It might start small. A few people, a few conversations, a few pieces of content. But what is small in your hands can become supernatural in God's hands. You just need to say yes. The yes is the currency that moves things in the spirit. Once you say yes to the assignment, heaven begins to fund what you are building. You will not need to compete. You will not need to hustle like you used to. In this economy, presence is power. Obedience is strategy. Flow is sustainability, and trust is the investment. Chosen ones are not here to fight for scraps. You are here to distribute spiritual wealth, clarity, peace, healing, and awakening. God is showing you now how to do it in a way that sustains you while transforming others. If you feel like something in you is being stirred, if you know this message is pulling on your spirit, comment 777 so I know you feel it. You are not imagining the shift. You are part of it. The rise of the chosen is not just a phrase. It is a movement. A new spiritual economy is being built, and you are one of its architects. The world may not understand it, but heaven has already approved it. It is time to build, chosen one. You have been taught to chase money, to run after stability, and to measure your value by your income. But let me tell you something that will shift your entire perspective. Divine provision doesn't follow effort. It follows purpose. When you walk in your God-given assignment, provision begins to flow, not because you worked harder than everyone else, but because heaven is backing what you were born to do. The world system says, get a job to survive. God says, step into your calling and I will provide. This is not some distant theory. This is a spiritual law. Chosen ones have never thrived chasing checks. It is why you have always felt drained doing what others celebrate. It is why, no matter how good the job looked on paper, your soul felt like it was suffocating because you were never meant to live off wages. You were meant to live off assignment. You are not like everyone else, and your provision will not come like it does for everyone else. For you, doors don't open just because you apply. They open when you obey. You can send out 100 resumes and get nothing, but say yes to the thing God whispered to you in private, and suddenly things begin to align. Resources come. People show up. Favor appears, not because you forced it, but because you aligned with it. God funds His assignments, not your fears, not your fallback plans, not the backup options you created when you didn't trust your gift. He funds what He calls. The reason some things haven't been working is because you have been trying to finance something that heaven never authorized. But the moment you step into what you were truly created for, even if it is scary, even if it looks uncertain, provision will begin to flow. I know what you are thinking, but how will I live? What about bills? What about responsibilities? Those are valid questions. But here is the divine truth. When you prioritize purpose, God prioritizes your needs. He is not a careless father. Now, as you unlearn the world's noise, you are finally able to hear God's whisper. You will start noticing synchronicities, divine timing, conversations that confirm what you have been sensing, opportunities that don't make sense but feel perfectly right. These aren't coincidences. They are the unfolding of heaven's strategy. Because once you unlearn fear, performance, and striving, you begin to live from trust, presence, and flow. That is when you become dangerous. That is when you become unstoppable. That is when the enemy loses his grip. The world will still try to pull you back. It will call you irresponsible, unrealistic, even rebellious. But you must remember, you weren't chosen to continue cycles. You were chosen to break them. And that means walking paths that others are too afraid to even imagine. It means building what has never been built, saying what has never been said, trusting a vision no one else can see. So if things feel like they are falling apart, don't panic. You are not being destroyed. You are being delivered from programming that never belonged to you, from systems that kept you small, from beliefs that kept you bound. And every part of this breaking is preparing you to hold the new, the higher, the holy. Chosen one, you are not going backwards. You are being reset. Let the world call it foolish. Let heaven call it preparation. You must unlearn what the world gave you to finally receive the blueprint God designed specifically for you. And once you do, you will not just survive. You will step into a reality where you don't chase anything. You attract everything you need because you are exactly where God called you to be.